just as you said in your lead-in, folks have decided on the Democratic side of the aisle this is a good political issue for them. Bad for America, good for Democratic politics.
What do you make of the fact that the president continues talking about this? This is Infrastructure Week. Congress is going to be in session. It's time to talk about things, conceivably get things done for the American people. In Iowa and Georgia, they don't really care so much about the Mueller report. They care about broken bridges and potholes in their roads. The list goes on. It doesn't seem like Congress is spending much time doing about that, and the president keeps tweeting about it. Is that really where you want the president's focus?
Well, I want the Congress's focus on infrastructure, undoubtedly. I've got a Democratic chairman.
Okay, but hold on. Doesn't the president drive so much of the conversation that if he was talking only about infrastructure, Congress might be a little more forced to talk about infrastructure?
Right. Well, to be fair, he invited Nancy Pelosi and Chuck Schumer to the White House earlier this year. They said, no, we won't come and talk about solutions. He invited them last week to come, and they said, yes, we will come and talk about infrastructure. They had a productive discussion. They're coming back in 2 weeks to talk again. We are having presidential leadership on this issue, and now we need congressional leadership and focus on this issue, too.
The one thing that leadership in Washington always seems to agree on, no matter which party's in power, is spending more money. And we have a look at how much the federal government has been spending over the past couple of years. It continues to go up and up, as does the deficits, as does the national debt, now at $22 trillion, the highest it has ever been. Is it time for Republicans to start talking about something other than spending money and return to fiscal conservatism?
Well, the only reason the deficit is as low as it is because Republicans were able to put those budget caps in place in 2011, the best vote I've taken since I've been in Congress. Yes, the president...
come on, Congressman. I mean, you guys haven't been able to reform Social Security. You haven't been able to reform Medicare. You haven't been able to cut down on domestic spending. Really, you can't say that Republicans have been really all that tight with the purse these days.
Oh, now don't take me as being satisfied with where we are. I'm not. There's much more to do. But you've not seen a Congress in my lifetime take on Medicare the way my colleagues and Paul Ryan took on premium support. Now, we got beat on that issue. We couldn't get a Democratic Senate to go along or a Democratic president. But we took on the issue for the first time in a generation, and I'm proud of that. I hope we can build on that.
Okay, but the contrapositive of that would be saying we're not going to keep spending money that we don't have until we get some work on those issues that you just brought up. You and your colleagues, Paul Ryan, while he was Speaker, didn't say that, didn't do those things.
Well, to be fair to Paul, we're spending the lowest amount of discretionary spending that we've spent in 3 generations. Republicans in Congress presided on the only time in American history we spent less one year to the next and then to the next. So, yes, there's some good stories to tell, but there's more to do. Watch the infrastructure bill, Leland. President Trump and Nancy Pelosi have promised $2 trillion in new spending. I'm telling you today that I want to pay for it. The Democratic chairman of the Transportation Committee wants to pay for it. So, you want to pay for it. I think we're going to get that done.
All right, the way to pay for it is a gas tax, so you don't mind that?
Well, I don't think a gas tax is the way to pay for anything. I drive electric vehicles. I'm not paying the gas tax. The gas tax was a 20th century policy. We've got to have a 21st century policy.